Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the program today. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Here's what's coming up within the half hour. 12 people have died, 23 more still missing as surreal wildfire blazes through Los Gallados in Spain. Temperatures rising across Europe, still rising. Commuters in London describe the public transport system as feeling like a sauna. Plus, France celebrates its win over Morocco at the FIFA World Cup. Let's begin the world today. And here's where we begin. Mother Nature taking control of the weather in Spain and spiraling things out of control. At least 12 people have been killed in a wildfire in the southern part of the country, with the early indications suggesting that 4 of the victims are British. Hundreds of emergency responders are working to extinguish the blaze around Los Gallados, Almera, as they deal with the devastating fire. The mayor of a town of Antas says the fire is more or less under control. But if the wind picks up again, things could get complicated. A sustained heat wave with temperatures of around 40 degrees Celsius has caused wildfires across Europe this summer. Local officials in Spain say around 1,000 residents have been evacuated and several roads closed. Meanwhile, the UK Foreign Office says it is in contact with the relevant authorities in Spain over the concerning reports of British casualties. And in China, President Xi Jinping has ordered an all-out search and rescue effort into a fire that killed at least 28 people at a shoe factory in the eastern Fujian province. Local media reports that the fire broke out around midday at Huteng Shoes Co. Limited, where 239 people were on site. A total of 213 people were evacuated, while 2 later died in hospital, and 26 others who had initially been reported missing were later confirmed dead. Firefighters are said to have been battling the blaze as at press time, as several people remain trapped on a rooftop surrounded by smoke. The factory owner and several others have been detained as investigators work to determine the cause of the fire. In another development in China, in the aftermath of catastrophic flooding triggered by tropical storm Maysak in Guangxi, drones have emerged as crucial aerial lifelines delivering essential supplies to isolated communities. Floodwaters have submerged critical infrastructure, cutting off rural villages and making traditional rescue efforts by boat and road nearly impossible. In response, an unprecedented collaboration between state emergency agencies and civilian volunteer drone operators has emerged to bridge the logistical gap. Elsewhere in Hangzhou, residents are clearing mud from their homes after deadly flooding caused tropical storm Maysak swept through Guangxi in China. The city was among the first areas hit after a breach at the Lulan Reservoir, which sent floodwaters surging downstream on Monday. Teams have continued to evacuate stranded residents and to deliver food, water, and other essential supplies, while crews are working to restore roads, electricity, and other basic services. Authorities say flooding linked to Maysak has killed at least 39 people across Guangxi, with 9 others still missing. Around 130,000 people have been evacuated across the region. Meanwhile, landslides triggered by one of the strongest storms in decades have left at least 15 people dead, 6 others missing on the island of Mindanao in southern Philippines. As part of East Asia brace themselves for the looming storm. Typhoon Bobby is expected to pound Taiwan's north and east, as well as Japan's remote southwestern islands today and tomorrow, before smashing into China, which has been hit already by deadly storms this week. Typhoon Bobby, which spans 1,000 kilometers at its widest point, roughly the width of France, is sweeping across the Pacific towards Taiwan. It is expected to dump rain on Taiwan's north and east and on a chain of remote Japanese islands before making landfall in southeastern China on Saturday. Dozens of flights have been cancelled, while schools have suspended classes across the region. Supermarket shelves have been wiped clean as residents stock up on supplies ahead of the typhoon. Locals in Taiwan's port city of Keelung, which is expected to be one of the hardest hit areas on the island, stocked up on food, taped windows and stacked sandbags along shop fronts, heeding warnings from authorities to take precautions. And it's really hot in Britain today. Temperatures set to be above 37 degrees Celsius as the country experiences a heat wave. Commuters say they're experiencing stifling conditions in transport systems and raising concerns about the impact on passengers and drivers.
I think the tube. Buses get more fresh air, you get more air circulating. Tubes are horrendous, especially when you're under the ground. But yeah, the only line that's decent, everything else is horrendous. My daughter gets Piccadilly to work, that's horrendous. And, you know, us youngsters struggle, let alone the elderly.
We need to talk about these trains. The heat is killing off people, honestly. Like, the sweat, the heat, there's no air conditioning. Like, everyone is sweating on the trains.
It's like a sauna in every single bus, on every single train, on every single underground.
Aircon is a good thing to implement. I know there's also some there could be negatives on the climate side with aircon too, but definitely want to explore, and I think that could affect it as a whole. It can affect like productivity and everything, just having cooler places to work and commute.
Well, the weather is not hot enough for politics in Britain as Andy Burnham, a member of the UK House of Commons, effectively secured a solo bid in the party leadership primary, making it likely he will succeed Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Burnham said on his Facebook page that day, "I am deeply grateful to the 322 Labour Party members of Parliament who have trusted me and nominated me for party leader." That figures about 79.9% of the 403 MPs from the Labour Party. Under UK Labour Party rules, to register as a candidate for party leader, a contender must secure nominations from 20% of all MPs. With just one more nomination, Burnham would surpass 80%, making it impossible for any other candidate to register. It is a structure that effectively allows him to run as the sole candidate. The deadline for candidate registration is July 16. If Burnham's unopposed run is confirmed, he is expected to be officially elected party leader on the 17th without a separate vote. He is then expected to meet King Charles III on the 20th to be appointed Prime Minister. Meanwhile, former Conservative Minister turned Reform UK spokeswoman Anne Whitcomb has died at the age of 78. Whitcomb's political career spanned decades, serving as MP for Maidstone in Kent for 23 years before going on to join Reform UK. She worked as a Home Office and Employment Minister in Sir John Major's government between 1994 to 1997. After leaving Parliament, she embarked on a showbiz career, appearing on Strictly Come Dancing in 2010 and Celebrity Big Brother in 2018. A staunch supporter of the UK's departure from the EU, she became an MEP for the Brexit Party, representing South West England in the European Parliament between 2019 and 2020. In 2023, Whitcomb joined Nigel Farage's Reform Party after the party changed its name from the Brexit Party and made a number of appearances as the party's immigration and justice spokesperson. Following news of her death, Farage credited Whitcomb for playing a decisive role in getting Brexit over the line. We'll segue into the United States, where California Governor Gavin Newsom has dismissed reports of FBI investigations into him, his wife, and members of his staff as purely political during a press conference in California on Thursday. Explaining why he spoke publicly, the governor pointed to the pressure on people close to him. Asked separately about the Democratic Senate race in Maine and questions over candidate vetting, Newsom acknowledged shortcomings in the process, but urged the party to focus on winning future elections. The Maine contest forms part of the Democrats' wider effort to regain control of the Senate, while the party also seeks to win back the House of Representatives. Volkswagen, one of Europe's largest car makers and a cornerstone of Germany's industrial economy, has unveiled sweeping proposals that could reshape its future. The company's leadership met this week to discuss additional job cuts and factory closures. Here with more details is Deutsche Welle correspondent Emily Leshner. She joins us from Berlin. Emily, great to see you. What proposals are on the table?
Yeah, so Oliver Blume, that's Volkswagen's CEO, is proposing that the company cut around 100,000 jobs globally and end production at 4 of its plants here in Germany. This includes the 50,000 job cuts that were announced back in March of this year. And it's a sign that things are very dire at the company. That's something that Blume has reiterated himself many times. He says that these cuts are necessary for the company to survive, and that's why he formally proposed this cost savings plan to Volkswagen's board this week. Now they will have to vote on whether or not to pass it. What is interesting is that right now only 19 of the 20 board seats are occupied, with 10 of them leaning in favor of the unions and workers, and the other 9 seats representing shareholders. So it could be a tough battle for them to win because the car maker union here, IG Metall, is very, very strong. They have successfully pushed back against cuts in the past. And if the board does agree to the proposal, it's very likely that negotiations between IG Metall and Volkswagen will go on for months, if not years. Yet at the same time, Volkswagen needs an estimated €4 billion to cut an estimated €4 billion a year if it wants to pull through. And pulling through is something the German government really wants Volkswagen to do because of how important it is for Germany's economy.
So can you give us some context as to how important Volkswagen is to the German economy?
Yeah, Volkswagen is a massive job provider. It employs 650,000 people here in Germany and an estimated 3 million people directly and indirectly by the car industry. And for a long time, when Volkswagen was still competitive in the market, that huge workforce put it at an advantage. But now the size of this workforce is coming at a significant cost. And just to put that size in perspective for a moment, Volkswagen has one of the most bloated headcounts compared to other major car manufacturers. So, for example, Volkswagen produces around the same amount of vehicles as Toyota, but has more than double the workforce. It actually has 60% more staff than Toyota. Toyota, that's why the cutting jobs has been really a core focus for Volkswagen. And that's because Volkswagen's employees are some of the best paid auto workers in the world. That's, again, thanks to the strength of the union, which has successfully negotiated for good wage increases and benefits over the years.
So this is the size of the workforce is seen as the major reason behind its financial struggles, right, Emily?
Yeah, certainly. It is one major issue, but there are also a lot of other reasons that Volkswagen is struggling to maintain competitiveness and turn a profit. One other reason comes down to its internal strategy. Volkswagen aggressively acquired several car brands over the years, like Skoda and Bugatti, for example. And Volkswagen has said that integrating those brands under one roof, that's the Volkswagen Group, has been really costly and has hampered their ability to react quickly to market changes. So the different designs and supply chains really made it complicated to operate. That's one reason that the CEO Blume has also proposed breaking these brands off and managing them separately, hoping to make them more nimble and able to be more competitive. Because another significant hurdle for Volkswagen has been competition from China. It just continues to remain fierce. Chinese electric vehicles are cheaper. They offer more tech-savvy features. They get produced faster. It's just really been a challenge for Volkswagen to keep up, let alone compete. And it isn't the first time, of course, that Volkswagen has really had to reckon with itself. There was, of course, the Dieselgate scandal back in 2015. That's when Volkswagen was caught putting software in cars to cheat on emissions tests. That cost the company an estimated €32 billion when you total the fines, the penalties, the settlements, and the stock market losses that they had to contend with. So Volkswagen has faced major and costly setbacks before, but this time it seems extremely difficult to regain any footing.
Emily, thanks again for speaking with us and bringing us those figures as well as information. Well, as we are coasting now to the end of the program, hundreds of Les Bleus fans celebrated another step towards their third World Cup title on Thursday in Paris, of course, after France booked their place in the FIFA World Cup semi-finals with a 2-0 win over Morocco. Supporters watching the quarter-final on giant screens at the Lego fan zone before erupting at the final whistle. Fans waved French flags, they cheered, they embraced one another as the celebration continued. Well, France beat Morocco 2-0 in the quarterfinals with captain Kylian Mbappe opening the scoring before Ousmane Dembele sealed the victory in the second half. France will now face the winner of Friday's quarterfinal between Spain and Belgium, with fans already dreaming of another World Cup triumph. Here's where we're parking for the week. You see his dexterity? Yep, he's also got no hands because he knows how to control the ball with his feet. Talking about Blessing Sajo, the Tamil Nadu-born influencer who's refused to let his physical challenges decide his future. Instead, it turned him into the drive behind his football freestyle, martial arts training, and growing online following. He's nicknamed Cristiano Saju for his admiration of Portuguese football star Cristiano Ronaldo. He has built a large social media following through his football tricks and athletic achievements. Saju says he discovered football during the COVID-19 lockdown after neighbors brought a volleyball to his home and gave him the chance to practice ball control. Beyond football, Saju is also a para-taekwondo athlete. He recently won a gold medal in the K41 men's 63-kilogram category at the 11th Asian Para-Taekwondo Championships in Mongolia. From overcoming daily challenges to becoming an Asian champion, Saju's journey has become a story of resilience, determination, and proving that physical limitations do not define potential. The way he's controlling that ball, it's very hard to think he really has no hands. Thanks for watching The World Today. I'm Amarachi Ubani.